It's hardly surprising to discover that the 8th generation Audi A6 is also the most advanced technically, the most efficient ecologically, the biggest inside and out, and also the most dynamic to drive, says Audi. But the aspect that strikes you about it first, long before any of the new technical stuff, is just how elegant it appears in the flesh. Even so, the bigger, slightly heavier, faster, more efficient, and, says Audi, better to drive new A6 has some extremely tough competition to square up to in this class. Audi reckons it has achieved its aim though and built the best executive saloon that money can buy right now. We drive the 47 grand 50 TDI Quattro model here to find out if they're right or not. It's a good looking car, the new A6, isn't it? But on the move, it's very good to drive as well. So much sharper than Audis of old. I mean, Audi make a very big thing about how much technology that there is in this car, a lot of which is for improving the ease of driving, improving the comfort, improving the connectivity, etc., improving the safety particularly. But they also reckon that this thing is quite a lot sharper than the previous car in every way dynamically, but particularly in terms of its handling. And a big chunk of that is down to this new four-wheel steering system. And on the move, you really can feel it working, because it just, you can't feel the rear end steering or anything like that, but you could just, it kind of shortens the wheelbase of the car subjectively. As a result, the new A6 sort of is one of those cars that shrinks on the move. This is the kind of most expensive one that you'll be able to buy for a good while. It's the 50 TDI with 282 horsepower and over 600 Newton meters of torque. So it is not short of poke. And although it weighs 1,800 odd kilograms, in a straight line and around corners and under brakes, pretty much anywhere basically, it feels pretty tidy. I mean, it's not a rocket ship, but it feels like a car that is sharp enough, crisp enough, fast enough to be able to take it right to the 5 Series. And that ultimately is what the new A6 is all about. The new A6 has what Audi refers to as a mild hybrid system that allows the V6 TDI engine to go into coast mode at certain speeds to improve its economy. But on the move, it's the engine's rich flow of torque, the sharpened responses from the chassis, and the hugely better ride quality that mark the biggest differences between this car and its predecessor. Plus, of course, the almost infinite levels of new technology it contains, particularly its excellent new dual touchscreen infotainment centre. So as ever, there are all sorts of different drive modes that you can select. A full eco mode, a normal mode. I've got it in sport because it just tightens up the suspension and the steering. And as a result, the A6 does, as I say, feel pretty sharp on the move. But it's also just a lovely thing to sit in. Audis have felt like quality cars inside for a long time now, but I think they've gone to a new level with the interior of the new A6. You've got these two huge touch screens down here, which basically allow you to control, they'll probably allow you to fly a rocket to the moon. There's so much information that they contain, but it's just really clear. And then you've got this big map in the dashboard as well. But more than that, it just feels like an expensive quality item inside the new A6. It really does. But it's just the feel. Everything feels expensive. Everything feels beautifully made inside the A6. The gearbox is an 8-speed Tiptronic. It works as well as you would want any automatic gearbox to work. The other thing about the new A6, it rides really nicely. Audis of old just felt wooden and just uncomfortable. The way they were damped in particular never used to work on roads like this, but this thing rides beautifully. It's got proper refinement levels and yet loads of control at the same time. I'm not entirely convinced about the electric power steering. It feels a bit arcade game like. It's precise enough, but there's absolutely, well, all right, there's a bit of feel, but not enough. Nowhere near as much as you get in a 5 Series. I think that dynamically on the move, that's the one thing that really separates the A6 from the new 5 Series, and it's the steering. 5 Series steers beautifully, A6 steers okay. The new A6 is a deeply impressive car in its own right. One that's almost as good to drive as it is to look at, which is saying something. So a twin test with the 5 Series most definitely beckons. So the starting price for this model, the 50 TDI, is going to be about £47,000 when they come on sale end of August, early September. That's a lot of money, but this is an awful lot of car. The amount of equipment on offer is very good in standard form. Okay, there's an options list that you can go berserk with, probably chip it up to over 70 grand if you got really carried away. But fundamentally there is enough equipment in here to keep most people very happy. Then it drives beautifully, then it looks, I think it looks stunning, the new A6. I think it's the best looking car that Audi makes now that doesn't have an RS badge on it. And perhaps best of all is just the way it drives. It's a pretty nice car to drive now, the Audi A6. Whether you would have one instead of a 5 Series, I don't know. But the fact that you would even have to debate that nowadays is big progress on Audi's behalf. Very good car, the new A6.